Good morning, everyone. Hi. Happy Friday. Oh my goodness. It is Friday. So today we're going to work on making some homemade crackers. So we're Facebook Live. The Facebook Live is all about experimenting with healthy foods and how to make healthy snacks and meals and that kind of thing. And I'm a certified herbalist and natural health consultant, and that's what I do. But when I post a lot of what I cook for ourselves on Instagram and on YouTube, and I have a lot of videos on there. Good morning, Jane. And yeah, so the Facebook Live was all about just experimenting with new recipes that are healthy and easy. And so today I'm really excited to try this. This is going to be a super fun thing to do, is making homemade crackers. So here we go. We have I am using the Bob's Red Mill gluten-free baking powder. And so you can get this at Healthy Habits in Port Alberni, or if you're elsewhere, you can get it at any health food store, and actually most grocery stores too. But I bought this at Healthy Habits, and they have really good products and really good prices. So I usually, that's my usual go-to for anything that's unusual. So well, not unusual, super healthy. Okay, so we've got basically pretty much here, we have 1 cup of flour, the gluten-free flour, so we're going to put that in. And of course you're going to start with everything clean, right? Make sure your hands are clean because you're going to be working with your hands. Make sure that everything is clean and sanitary. So we're going to start with the flour, and then we're going to add a teaspoon of salt, which I always seem to forget something. You know, I need 2 Celtic sea salt shakers, because I'm always taking it from one end of the kitchen to the other. And so I'm just going to run over here and grab that, because I happen to have forgotten to put it back. And so basically what you're going to do is you're going to do a teaspoon. And I didn't, I'm so busy doing so many different things, I did not get myself together to get an actual package where I can scoop a teaspoon out. So we're just going to do it like this, which is fine. Taking the lid off here, or you could wing it if you want. But basically you're going to go with, a teaspoon. That's a heaping teaspoon. So I am going to save a little bit just on the side, because I think what I will do is sprinkle these on top of the crackers after we're finished. It's always nice to have, good morning, Darlene. Nice to see you. It's always nice to have a little bit of a sprinkling of something on top of your crackers. So we'll save that for that. So we've got our flour, we've got our salt. Typically, most people would use butter, but we're going to use a coconut oil, and we're going to grab roughly 4 tablespoons. So, and you kind of do want it cold, you don't really want it to be warm, because you want to mix it together. And I'm not exactly sure why, but that's what I've heard, is that you want it cold. And so I'd say that's about 2. And I'm terrible for measuring. And so if anybody knows why, let me know. Put that in the comments, because it's so much fun to share information and little tidbits on health and all the different things about foods that, that maybe I don't know. So, yeah, I think that's about right. I'm such a terrible measurer. But, that's the thing, is that it doesn't really, nothing has to be perfect. In my life anyway, it doesn't have to be perfect. There's always some way of changing or fixing something to do with food. So what I'm going to do now is add the a few little spices to it. And so you can add whatever you want. We have the salt in here. I am going to add a little bit of this is a granulated onion powder. And yeah, I think, I think that's always really helpful to have a little bit of onion. Oh, I can smell that. It smells amazing. And then a little bit of the granulated garlic powder. Basically what you're after, and I may be overdoing it, but I love to overdo, the spices and get them really strong. I'm more of a I don't know. I like the flavor to just pop right out. So you could go a little less if you want, but basically what you're after is about a teaspoon of the spice, per the cup of flour. So, whatever you want to do, you can just switch that up if you want. I want it a little bit cheesy, just a little cheesy. So I am going to add some nutritional yeast and yeah, so a little bit of that to go with it. Give it a little bit of a cheesy flavor. Nutritional yeast is so good for you. It has the B3 vitamins. It has potassium. It's usually fortified with B12, for anybody that's not eating meat. Yeah, so it has all kinds of really good antioxidants. That's the word I'm looking for. I can't think of the words right now. Anyway, super good for your immune system and your health overall. So I'm going to start breaking this up. We are going to end up using our hands, but we're going to mix this a bit while I think, what else would be really good? Would be just a little bit, and let me see, looking around, anything else that I can think of. I'm going to use rosemary. So I'm just going to use a little bit of rosemary. I'm just looking at all my other herbs and spices there. And so I'm going to use a tiny bit of rosemary because I think that would be really good. Sort of, yeah, garlic and rosemary. Or what are the other things? Roasted garlic and sea salt and all those different other things. Like there's so many things. I get so carried away. I should probably divide this up into a different couple kinds of crackers. But I'm just going to go like this and try it. So, so you get the odd cracker. Like they won't all be exactly the same with the rosemary bits because there aren't probably enough bits to get into each cracker. So it'd be like a little bite of a surprise when you bite into a cracker and then that has a little pinch of rosemary. You're like, oh, that's a neat surprise. So I think that's a really good thing. And the rosemary is really crazy antiviral. It's antibacterial, antiseptic, antiviral. I mean, of course, not a little tiny pinch like that. But if you wanted to add rosemary to your tea, or, in a tincture, it is so good for you. It's very kind of strong tasting, but very, very antiviral. And I put it in my antiviral spray that I make. I make an antiviral spray and I sell that, quite a lot of it. It's kind of like the thieves oil recipe, but a little bit different. And I like the antiviral in the spray because when you're spraying it, hey, Michelle, good morning. When you're spraying the antiviral spray, I find it gets into places where the gel stuff or the liquid stuff doesn't really get. Like if you're doing door handles or things with little spaces and crevices, the spray is just like, you can get it, use it anywhere. And I love the spray, the antiviral spray, because it's also really good for on your clothes. So if you feel like you've picked something up somewhere, on your clothes or the edges of your sleeves or stuff like that, then the antiviral spray is really good too, and good for packages too. I don't know if they're still on and on about that, disinfecting the packages when you bring them in, but that's what I do, is I just spray everything down, and it's got, the 90% alcohol, so it's going to pretty much kill everything. So, the cold chunks, oh good, because okay, that's awesome. I love that, why it has to be cold. Okay, that's good, because I did not know that. As most most of you know, I'm not much of a baker at all. I'm more of a vegetable, you know, smoothie, fermenting, dehydrating kind of person. And so this is a real experiment for me. And so, yeah, so apparently you're supposed to use your hands and mush this up really good. So I thought I would start with this thing here and just see how far I get. Okay, we're going to poke those guys in. So the other thing we're going to do, okay, so we have our flour, we have our salt, we have our coconut oil, we have our herbs. I think what we're going to do is just really try and get this together a little bit, and we're going to feel the lumps. Oh my gosh. We're going to feel the lumps and just kind of work the lumps out. Seeing as how I can't read what the comments are. Hi Nicole, how are you? Oh, that's good. So breaking up into crumbles. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to add, we're going to kind of make a little well in the middle, so to speak. We're going to add a 1/4 cup of the whatever kind of milk you want. This is almond milk. You can use a coconut milk, you could use rice milk, you could use whatever kind of milk you want to use. And so we're just going to get this all together here and start wrapping this together. Now, the thing that surprised me when I kind of looked into the cracker making business, the thing that surprised me, I thought that you'd be putting in like baking powder or baking soda or something, and apparently not. So I'm just going to use this to scrape the sides. So yeah, so this is gluten-free, and oh, I know what I wanted to do. You know, I always say that when you're cooking or making anything, if you can make it healthier, then you know, in any way, like by adding, if you know and you've watched me a lot, you know that I add a lot of medicinal mushrooms that are really good for the immune system and really healthy in all kinds of ways. Or I'll add a seaweed, or I'll add some kind of herbal supplement. So I do happen to have astragalus here. Now that I have my hands all gooey, I'm going to attempt to open this and add some astragalus powder. So the astragalus is really good for the immune system. It's an antioxidant. All right, I'm just going to have to wipe it down after I finish. It's an antioxidant, anti-inflammatory. It's really good for the heart. It's an adaptogen, so it's super good for stress. And nice thing, not the nicest thing, but the nice thing is it virtually has no flavor. So these crackers are going to be like a health supplement with the astragalus. And you know, the other thing, like some of the herbs that I use, like if you were using ashwagandha, which I really love as well, and is super good for you. Ashwagandha is really good for stress as well. It's an adaptogenic as well, good for stress, helpful for sleep and hormones and all that kind of thing. But ashwagandha has a bitter taste, so I don't want to ruin the taste of my crackers. The other thing you could probably add, depending on what you're trying to do, like if these didn't have the if they didn't have the rosemary and garlic and onion, I guess, I'm just trying to think of how that would combine. I would add maca, and because maca is really good, but maca is a little more earthy. It's an earthy taste, so almost like maca is something that you can use instead of coffee, right? So it's a little bit more of a root type of a thing. And yeah, so I wouldn't, but you could use maca with cheese, maybe make it kind of like a smoked paprika. Ooh, that would be good. Maca and smoked paprika, and I would add garlic to that too. And oh my gosh, I could just think of all kinds of things. So we're gonna put these together, and now The one thing that I might, I don't know, the one thing I might add to is just the tiniest bit of sweetener. Just a little. I'm trying to think of what ideally, you would want something very fine, and I don't happen to have anything, well, I do happen to have something. I don't happen to have anything super fine that I would put in here. Like I have coconut sugar right here at my fingertips, but the coconut sugar is very caramely and gritty, right? So I don't think it would break down enough, so you'd want something super fine. And so the that probably wouldn't be great. What would be really good would be monk fruit. And monk fruit would be really super awesome as well, because it is that really fine, almost like an icing sugar, so it would break down really easily. So I'm just wondering, I think I'm going to take a chance on it, because that's what I do. I love to experiment, and you know what? We can always do something else with it if it doesn't turn out exactly the way it's supposed to. I'm going to grab some maple syrup out of the fridge. Because that way I know that the liquid's going to blend in. Not a whole lot. I don't want to add a whole lot because I don't want it to get sticky. Okay, let me break this up again. Breaking up. Okay. So we're going to add the tiniest amount that I can't even see. Okay, there we go. Okay. Good thing I wipe all this stuff down before I put it away. All right. And that is going to be sticky, so I'm going to use this thing here and mix that in really well. So yeah, so the maple syrup is really, really nice and handy to use for all kinds of things. But if you haven't tried monk fruit, I'm pretty sure you can get it at Healthy Habits as well, or any health food store. And the monk fruit is really, it's like the coconut sugar has a lower glycemic index than other sugars. So it's better if you have blood sugar issues, or diabetic or whatever. But monk fruit is really the best if you're trying to, like if you do have diabetes or some serious blood sugar issues going on. The monk fruit is the best because it's fruit, really. It's a monk fruit. You can look that up. And I'm sure that most health food stores would have it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a tiny, tiny bit of water to this just to get us sticking together. Just a little bit, not too much. Okay, so the idea with this, what we're going to do is get it to stick together. And I'm wondering too, with the traditionally, you're doing this with, I think they use butter, probably back in the old days. Old. They probably used lard and that kind of thing, which I'm not really even sure what that is. But yeah, so what we're going to do with this, we're going to try and get it rolling into a log. So you just have to keep working with it and getting it to stick together. You don't want it too gooey. So we're gonna, and of course, much easier to do this kind of thing if I was standing up. Get my arm exercises going. Come on. Okay. You don't want it too gooey because that's not really the plan. Okay, so here we go. We're going to try and get it into a log. I just want to grab all this, and then I'm going to use the thing underneath. And what we're going to do is we're going to put it in a, that's probably good enough. Okay, I'm going to just have to make a mess, and that's all there is to it. There's just sometimes you just have to make a mess. Okay, so we're going to press it into a little cracker log like this. And then what you do is, I don't know if I'm very good at this, I'm not a baker at all, but let's just give it our best shot. Okay, I don't want the crackers too big, so I'm going to try and squish them down. And if I use my tray here, I can actually get some sort of a shape going. Okay, a little shorter, shorten down. So, yeah, so with the coconut oil, that'll be really good. We're going to wrap it in saran wrap, and then we're going to put it in the freezer for an hour. And then after we take it out of the freezer for an hour, we're going to preheat the oven to 350. And when we take it out of the freezer, we're going to try and slice it as thin as possible for those crackers. So you're going to have to see the rest of this on Instagram or whatever, YouTube or whatever. There's a little piece of rosemary. You know, if you wanted to, you could roll this in, or even when you take it out of the freezer, you could roll it in poppy seeds, you could roll it in sesame seeds, pretty much anything. So just trying to really make sure that it's kind of hanging on to itself there without cracking up too much. Okay, so what we're going to do, I do have my roll here of the saran wrap. And trying to get, okay, it's gonna fly. We know how that goes. Things like to fly around here. And so we're gonna try and carefully, I always have so much fun with this stuff. Oh my God. Okay, which way are we going here? Okay, so we're going to carefully put it on here, roll it on, and put it in the freezer. Okay, so like I say, you can add all kinds of things, sesame seeds, oh gosh, yeah, anything that you can imagine that you would make a cracker with. So we're going to pop this guy in the freezer for an hour, and then I will take it out and take some pictures and then slice it and put it in the oven and let you guys know how it turned out. I wonder if I can get it even smoother now that it's in the saran wrap. There's an idea. Lots of fun to play with the little log. Oh gosh. Okay. Oh my God. Okay. Anyways, we're setting this aside. We're going to set this aside, and I'm going to do something else that I need to do, and I'll show you guys again. We did this before, and it was like I don't know. It was sort of like half of a short video, and I wonder if I should wash my hands, but it doesn't really matter because it's just going to be on the outside of the container anyways. So hate to keep running away from you and doing things off screen. So what we're going to do, basically, dust off my hands here. It's only flour and beautiful food and herbs. We're going to grab the little mixer thing here, and oops, put it the right way up. So what we did, remember what we did a couple weeks, maybe over a month ago. What we did was we made, where is it? We made vanilla sugar, and oh my gosh. So simple, super simple. We actually made 3 sugars. We did the hazelnut in a coconut sugar, and then we did cinnamon in, I think we did that one in coconut sugar too. I can't quite remember, but I've used raw natural cane sugar for the vanilla. And so for the vanilla, so cute with my hands, we put vanilla beans inside the sugar. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make some flavored coffee creamer. So you just take a couple of teaspoons of this beautiful, I don't really want it that sweet for what I'm going to add on, maybe a teaspoon and a half of the beautiful smelling vanilla sugar. And so that's raw sugar. And then we're just going to add some of this coconut milk powder And you can buy this at Healthy Habits or any other health food store. I'm going to try not muck it up too much here with my hands. I will wipe everything down when we finish. So it's basically coconut milk powder, and you're going to add some of that. And I put, you know, a teaspoon and a half of sugar, and the coconut powder has a little bit of sugar too. But what we're going to do, maybe a little bit more, we're just going to blend this together. And the reason that we're going to the trouble to blend it together is because otherwise it just doesn't really, it kind of lumps when you use it in your, whatever you're using it in, coffee, or I've been drinking a dandelion root powder instead of coffee. So you could add it to that. You could add it, you know, as a latte and as a creamer, as a coffee creamer or a tea creamer. Oh my gosh. Okay. That piece goes somewhere else. We're always doing things like that. Oh my gosh. Okay. So yeah, you're just going to blend this up, and then it's going to break it up and also mix it really, really well for your creamer. And it is like, seriously has a flavor. There's something about the coconut milk and the hazel or the vanilla sugar that just, oh my gosh, you could almost eat it by the spoonful, which would be not so good, but it's so yummy. I'll give another little shake. Whoops. I'm so hard on my blenders. Okay. Yeah, it does tend to stick around the blades a little bit, so we'll give it another shot here. Perfect. So yeah, so just, it makes it super more powdery, and my gosh, when you smell it, it's just absolutely crazy to die for. With that coconut, the coconut smell and the vanilla, it's just amazing. So anyway, you could give that a try. You know, if you don't have any coffee creamer, or you run out or something like that, and if you like the vanilla flavor, otherwise just use the coconut powder and coconut milk powder, I should say, and just blend it up so that it actually dissolves better. Because if you just use this straight up into your coffee or your tea or whatever, I find that it kind of lumps and it doesn't really mix very well. Like you can see the little granules. But if you blend it up, it breaks it down to where it just absorbs beautifully into the coffee. So give that a try. So anyway, it's Friday. Oh my gosh. So yeah, happy weekend, happy Friday, happy weekend. Have a good weekend, everybody. Now that I have flour all over myself. And I will let you know how the crackers turned out. I look forward to your comments and suggestions for what you want to do next week. And we'll see you Monday at 11. And have a really great weekend, and stay safe and be good. Wash your hands, all that stuff. Check out my Instagram and my YouTube channel, and be sure to share and subscribe. And I have a buy me a coffee button now, so you can check that out too. Okay, have a good weekend.